You don't need I'm doing legend. He a 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 legend. Welcome to the league. 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 Welcome to the league. To the league. To the league. To the league. To the league of items.
What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and life is good. Business is good. League of Legends apparently is bad. I don't think that I had a very good day yesterday. I wasn't overexposed to anything, but a lot of my picks fell flat yesterday. So let's go through that real quick. So in the LPL, anyone's Legends pulled off the upset against Ultra Prime. Ultra Prime won the first game with a good Zeri performance. Game 2, they lost with Zeri. Game 3, Betty had a good Zeri game. It'll be interesting to see how Zeri plays against the hyper carries in general, because it's more similar. I don't think that Zeri is a true a hyper carry in the same way that Jinx or Aphelios is a hyper carry. They're obviously much less mobile. Zeri might just be broken, though, which happens a lot when you get a new champion that's released. I don't know how she's going to fit into the rock, paper, scissors of AD carries. I think that, in general, what you'd probably want to do right now is still draft around hyper carries until there is a definitive, Zeri is better into these matchups for this reason, and I don't think that we're there yet. But, anyone's Legends pulled off a good win in that match yesterday. Then we had Billy Gaming beat Thunder Talk, not very surprising. Doggo played over Uzi. I don't really care. And then in the OMG against V5 match, OMG had a really good chance to pull off the upset. I was on the OMG side because I like their upside. I think that if you stopped the game halfway through game 3, when they got an ace and started moving into the base, you'd probably think that they won the series. They ended up losing the series. These are the kinds of matches where, yes, they received a loss for their record, but you can't help but feel good coming away from it. That's kind of just that. In Korea, we had a lot of substitutes playing for Nongshim Red Force, so they lost to Fredit Brion. Some people will forget about the COVID-19 substitutions that took place in this game, and they'll give more credit to Fredit Brion as time goes on. This is the kind of thing that you need to watch out for, because at the end of the day, they basically played against a half challenger team, which is, wait, did Ghost play AD carry or support? All right, I didn't watch this yesterday. I don't know what actually happened. So I guess Ghost played support, and they let the challenger AD carry play AD carry. I don't know, but basically, you can't put too much stock into that. It's not like we're gonna upgrade our opinion of Fredit Brion because they beat Nongshim with 2 substitutes. And then we had DRX against Homolife. I'm not surprised that it was a close series. I'm also not surprised that DRX won. And Deft had a good Zeri game. I saw some of the highlights on YouTube for that. Then in the LEC, we had Misfits beat BDS. I was on the BDS side. I thought that was a chance for an upset. It was a relatively close match, 20-15. And again, we're seeing a lot of Jinx Aphelios against utility AD carry or Zeri. So BDS decided to go for Caitlyn instead of Aphelios, even though the Jinx was picked up on the other side. I really don't think that's an optimal way to draft. I know that a lot of teams probably think, they might be better than us. They're better at the late game. Let's try to win the early game hard enough to where we just snowball. It's just not a very reliable way to approach the game, in my opinion. Then we have Astralis against Rogue, and this is the game that we were all kind of waiting for. Astralis can come up good in these kinds of spots. I would never pick them to beat Rogue, but they were able to pull it off, and it's a best of one, so these things happen in best of ones. Zenzara talked a decent amount in PGL Sorry. So Zanzara was talking about attacking Malrong, and he said that teams will attack Malrong more in the jungle before they can set up for plays. That is the correct thing to do, but to think that Malrong is not capable of dealing with that pressure is just incorrect and funny, and it's part of the reason why you can't take things that professional players say without a grain of salt, because there's a difference between being very good at doing something and understanding something. You can go to any traditional sport and you'll see some of the best minds in those sports were never good players themselves because they had different limitations. But when they step away from the game itself, they are able to understand it on a more at a deeper level or at a higher level. Michael Jordan failed as a would fail as a coach, would fail as a GM, but he was the best player of all time. That's kind of the crux of my argument when I dismiss a lot of what these professional players say. For that reason, because obviously he's saying, oh, if Malrong doesn't play better when people are attacking him, then everybody should be attacking him, and Rogue is going to lose more games now. Well, yes, if that was the case, Malrong wouldn't be a professional jungler. You think that he hasn't dealt with this in solo queue before? It's nearsighted, and as time goes on, we'll see more diverse things come out of Malrong because drafts will force them to do different things. And to think that we've already seen the best of Malrong it's insane. So that's fine on that. And then Big Kev said something in esports department Discord, just making a joke about him saying that Elyoya is the best jungler. And yeah, I can't take anything that Zanzara says seriously. I like Zanzara. I think that he's funny to listen to. He makes for a great interview, but you can't rely on people like Zanzara to give insights that are actionable and correct. And that kind of comes with everybody. Like, I know that there are people skeptical when I say certain things, but that's what happens. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has a different way of viewing things, and you need to stick to your process, your mentality, and your opinions. Not never change your opinions, but be steadfast in your opinions, because when people challenge your opinions, that's when you can really figure out, do I actually believe this, or is this something that I just say? And that's, I think, all I want to say about that. Then we have XL against Vitality. XL had a good draft against Vitality. This is exactly why I was, concerned when I was talking about this game yesterday. I knew that XL had a chance to win this match because XL's playstyle lines up well with Vitality's playstyle, and Vitality is the team that's more likely to go off the rails in a draft. So we see Malphite being played. Malphite is a very good champion against auto attack heavy team compositions and is good against immobile AD carries. It was against the Vayne, so obviously Vayne is not an immobile AD carry, but I think that we will see more Malphite as time goes on because of their ability to engage, to do a pretty decent amount of damage, and also deal with hyper carries. Like his E causes the enemy AD carry to have reduced auto attack speed, which is very important. Also, like, his Q slows champion, so even if you ult in and they're like getting away from you after your initial engage, the slow will be impactful. And he's a pretty sticky champion. I love Malphite. But this is something that we always have to be concerned with Vitality. And again, we see a hyper carry against a it is hyper carry versus hyper carry, but they're two different kinds of hyper carries. Vayne can be a hard carry in some of these team compositions, but I think Aphelios just has a higher damage threshold, a higher damage ceiling, and is not a duelist. Vayne is a duelist. She's very good at broken up team fights, can go one-on-one. If Vitality was looking to create that kind of environment, nice try, but the enemy team doesn't really have to opt into that. It's really for a team like Vitality with this type of draft, you not only have to dictate how the interactions between the teams happen, but you need to have it with additional conditions of, Vayne needs to be off to the side a little bit, not have all the attention on her, so she can go one-on-one, and then one-on-one, and then one-on-one, and then one-on-one. Like, obviously, you can outplay the enemy team if it's 2-on-1 or something like that, but if all of the attention is around the Vayne, she's not going to be able to do her job. Then we had Fnatic against Vitality. Fnatic took care of... or Fnatic against SK Gaming, they took care of SK Gaming. And then in the last game, G2 beat Mad Lions. I did have G2 beating Mad Lions. So I lost the Astralis game, lost Vitality, lost BDS, won Fnatic, won G2, lost the Anyone's Legends game, won Billy Gaming, lost the OMG, trying to predict an upset there. And then I was wrong on Nongshim over Frederick Brion, and I had DRX. And that's just kind of how it goes. It's been a while, I think, since I've had a day like that. And yet people are still saying that they did well in Discord. And that's one of the benefits of the Discord community that we have, is I think that as time goes on, people are learning more about forming their own opinions. They do kind of defer to me when I see something different. I think a lot of them give me the benefit of the doubt, which, I appreciate that. But also people talk through things in the Discord that will help people get onto what they consider the right side. And it's always nice to be able to bounce ideas off of people or discuss that kind of thing. But let's go to tomorrow's games. So I was just looking at the pick band for that, but we can go past that. I don't have the lineups for tomorrow, but again, it's simple for me in the LPL. When World Elite is playing, if they don't have Beishang, then I will not be playing them. And I don't know if they have. Actually, let's just see if I can find it. Let's see. Did they post it? Yes, they did. Okay, Beishang is still not in, so I don't have any interest in World Elite. Weibo Gaming against FPX. What was the line that I saw before? FPX plus 120. Now it's FPX plus 110. So FPX is getting a little bit of money on them. The closer it gets to 50-50, the less interested I am in betting on FPX. I do think both teams are good. I have futures on both of them to win the split. I think it's just going to be a good competitive match between two pretty good teams. My fandom wants Weibo Gaming to win. My brain says pick FPX for the emotional free roll. RNG against Top Esports. I think it's a great Top Esports spot. And yet, they're making a bunch of changes. That's pretty crazy. I don't know anything about the top laner. Mark's okay. Maybe this is a champion pool thing. I would assume that Wayward is not playing a lot of the same. Well, I think that Zoom can play a lot of the champions that Wayward will end up playing. But Wayward's probably better at it, or maybe they just feel like they need to make a change. I still like Top Esports there. I think that the number is going to be a lot better. I think that plus 1.5 makes even more sense with the roster news. That'll make people feel worse picking them. I don't know if I can keep them for myself though. What was it before? Top Esports was 154, now they're 162. That number's going to keep moving. I would say if you want to bet on Top Esports, wait until right before everything locks. T1 against Gen G. I'm definitely on Gen G in that spot. I've talked about this before. I personally think Gen G is the better team, and I'm a T1 fan. I do consider myself a T1 fan. I just can't help but feel like Gen G is better. That's just really where I'm at right now. I'd be happy if T1 wins and they look convincing while they're doing it, then great. But I just expect Gen G to come out here, slow everything down. I think it's going to be a lot of slow games, and that might be a little boring. And I think that benefits Gen G. So I think that's the most likely scenario. The second scenario is that T1 understands that Gen G is better at playing the restrained style, so they feel like they need to go insane, and that might increase the number of kills in the match and give Gen G a higher upside than we would normally think, which would make them a good DraftKings play, meaning Gen G. And then the third one is that if T1 is better at the aggressive style and games that have a lot more kills, which doesn't always come down to draft, it just, it depends on how much the losing team is willing to fight. If T1 and Gen G are closely, if they're close in talent level, which they probably are, and they have similar drafts where they can like continuously trade 2 kills for 3 or 2 kills for 1, and cause multiple engagements around dragons and barons, and they're willing to fight, and that's really the most important part, is the willingness to fight, then we might see a very explosive match. And I don't think that we're going to come away from this match saying one team is definitely better than the other, or at least you shouldn't. But you just want to see good League of Legends. You want to see a good match between two very good teams, and it should help us learn about the game itself in its current iteration. And then Dom 1 against Sandbox. Obviously, we're on Dom 1. Then in the LEC, we have BDS against XL. So this is a spot where I think that you probably want to be on BDS. When I was doing my look ahead, I had XL, but XL just beat Vitality, so people will be on them. BDS just lost to Misfits, so I think people have even less reason to play them. I'm fine playing them. I'll probably make a bet on that for like an LEC parlay. Rogue against Misfits. Rogue coming off of a loss, that doesn't scare me at all. I'll take Rogue. SK against Mad. Mad coming off of a loss, I'll take Mad. G2 against Astralis. Astralis coming off of a win. The line has actually moved a decent amount, so it was minus 588, now it's minus 385, and Astralis went from 363 to 270, so somebody must have bet on Astralis a somewhat decent amount. I think that's an easy G2 spot. I don't see Astralis stringing together wins. The aggression that they showed in this game will be beneficial for DraftKings, so you might want to play both sides on DraftKings. I just wouldn't get money down on them to win outright on a sportsbook. And then we have Vitality against Fnatic. Vitality coming off of a loss, I'll take Vitality. And I get it. I know that, that's the side that I have to play. So I can't really give any further explanation than that. Anybody who wants more of an opinion about what I think about the two teams and why my opinion would be that, check out one of the videos where I talk about the matchup between the two teams and why I think that Vitality is more talented overall. And then tomorrow in the LCS, so EG against Dignitas. Evil Geniuses went from minus 312 favorites to minus 244, so now it's getting closer to something I'd be interested in betting, but probably still not there. 100 Thieves went from minus 714 to minus 588. Still not that interested, but I think that's the right side. Team Liquid against Cloud9. Team Liquid is now the favorite against Cloud9, so they must have watched my video. I had Team Liquid at plus 110. I should have bet that. The line completely flipped, so that means a lot of money's coming in on Team Liquid, which is very interesting. I'll take all the credit for that if it happens, because if they win, it means they watch my video. Golden Guardians against Counter Logic Gaming. It was about the same number. I like the CLG side there. I'm willing to bet on them. It's not as big of a number as I wished it would be, but I can't do anything about that. TSM against FlyQuest. A little action on TSM. And I think that's the right side. I think that people are going to associate like quote unquote intelligent League of Legends with teams like FlyQuest and Cloud9 because in week 1 they were both doing things that were more theory driven, and they should not be associated with one another. When Cloud9 does something, give Cloud9 credit. Don't give the strategy credit. Only the strategy credit. So that's basically it. I don't really have much more to say about the games from yesterday or tomorrow. Those are my sides. If you want more information about one of those matches, feel free to leave a comment and I'll respond. I think I respond to 100% of the comments that are posted. Or if you want more direct access to me and the community, you can always check out Patreon, join Discord, and discuss it there. But that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.